Much, Dr. Ajay, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. South Korean President Lee Jae-Myung will host Vietnam's top leader Tu Lam next week for a 4-day visit focused on boosting technology cooperation. This marks the first state visit since Lee took office. Trade tensions and global tariffs are likely to dominate discussions. Korean companies have long been major investors in Vietnam, with $92 billion invested by the end of 2022. However, new tariffs on South Korean and Vietnamese goods, including a 15% U.S. tariff on South Korean exports, may impact future investments. Both nations are watching closely as they navigate these trade challenges. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Dr. Ajay Dua. He's a former Secretary of Commerce and a senior economist. Thank you, Dr. Ajay, for staying with us. Now, what do you think the South Korean-Vietnamese state visit reveals about these evolving dynamics between these two nations?
Mike, if I recall, amongst the original, what was called the Asian Tigers in the 60s and the 70s, soon after the Second World War, the countries which had driven the economy of Far East and Southeast Asia were South Korea, Taiwan, and at that point of time, and of course, we had Japan in it. Singapore was also considered. Vietnam was nowhere in it. Vietnam was fighting for its existence at that particular point of time for its survival, first with the French and later with the United States. But after the United States gave up, or I can use the word gave in and decided to withdraw after years of trying to fight the Viet Cong, the US found in Vietnam itself a very good market for that. They found them a diligent lot who were willing to work hard, and the wages were very low. So that is what attracted the industry of Vietnam to be set up with American money. Till the other day, they were forced, and with the Chinese money. So you do, and for China, it's just the border. I can walk across both informal and the formal trade between China and Vietnam is considerable. So, and the advantage of Vietnam has been realized by both China and the United States. So the US has been considerate, so to say, and has levied a 19% tariff when the president of Vietnam appealed to President Trump. South Korea, original one of those tiger nations of Asia, believing heavily in exports. Vietnam has now got to that stage of joining the tigers because Vietnam's 20% of GDP of Vietnam is now exports to other countries, which is United States, China, and a host of other Southeast and other countries. So the two presidents are meeting up, one to see whether greater complementarity is possible between the two. South Korea does need more cheap goods. The cheap goods meaning labor-intensive products which are not in high value, in order to be able to use its own limited population, limited scale power for higher end goods. Not that it is absolutely like Japan, top of the rung in every technology, but in certain technologies, including, as we know, in electronics. Now it has become a contract pharmacy for a number of companies, and not many people talk about it, but Samsung,
Yes.
the electronic giant, is
Yes.
also a huge contract manufacturer for drugs for
Yes.
American and European companies.
Dr. Ajay, please stay with us. Thank you for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on.